I'd like to tell you about a formula for happiness in 3 steps. More about that in a moment. If you want some help, some additional personalized help from me using cognitive behavioral techniques, I'll tell you more about that at the end of the podcast. Let's begin.
This is a beautiful thought.
Welcome, seekers, beautiful thinkers. Welcome to those few who want to pursue a path to happiness. Today I want to talk about the 3 steps to happiness. Now, I think I've told this story before, but just to go through it a little bit. Last year, 2019, I took a month to sit in meditation. So that month I probably meditated more than I had in the last year or the last 2 years before that, like 80 or 90 hours in that month. By the end, I was sitting for 5 or 6 hours a day and trying to get to the root of what makes a person happy, what makes me happy. One day, I sat in meditation. I finished the morning meditation. I'd done maybe 4 hours just in the morning, and it got to noon, and I sat out on the balcony in that little village of Cava in Portugal, and the sun was nice and bright that day. Sometimes it got a little cold in that village, but that day was really nice. I could feel the warmth on my body, and I could feel this joy within me down in the sacrum, I suppose. And above that, there was this feeling of happiness. And then in the solar plexus, a feeling of satisfaction. But above that, the feeling of dissatisfaction. Like, I need to be more. I want to be more than this. I want to be a world-class champion of happiness. And I had to laugh to myself. And I thought, that's so funny. Like, here I am with these crazy levels of satisfaction and happiness, but on top of that, dissatisfied somehow. And I wrote this little formula with 3 steps to happiness. Now, I'm not saying this is the only way to happiness, but this is one formula. And I think if we meditate on these questions, we can find something practical out of them. So the first step is to develop a strong desire for happiness. The second step is to create the circumstances conducive to happiness. The third step is to let go of the desire for happiness. Now, as I said, that introduces some interesting questions. So the first question is, how do you cultivate a desire? And it's actually a great question. I think there's some work on this in the famous book, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. One way is through prayer, or sort of also obsession. Like if you're thinking about something constantly and you keep it in your mind, how do I do this? Then that can help you remain focused, and that way you build a desire. But yes, if you simply pray to have more desire for happiness, then undoubtedly you'll get it. But of course, you can also pray for happiness itself, which is a valuable practice. The second step, creating the environment conducive to happiness. And again, it's a grand question because we don't always know what is going to make us happy, and we have to keep investigating and learning about ourselves to find what helps us be in that state. Of course, it helps if you have things like money, if you have emotional support, like if you don't have much of a social life, it helps to get a social life. And also some simple things to get, sometimes simpler, like sunshine. So it can be difficult to get in some parts of the world. Then meditation and exercise. There are also things like chemical things you can do, like 5-HTP. I think it's a precursor to dopamine. You take that stuff, then it'll help you feel happy more frequently. Yes, every individual has to explore for themselves what circumstances are going to make them the most happy and what things within themselves. But also, this is an interesting thing. I haven't talked much about this. The vagus nerve, which is a kind of key to the parasympathetic system. I still don't claim to know about a lot about this intellectually or academically, but I think this is really important. Even if you meditate on that nerve, like those parts that are connected with your solar plexus and the sacrum, then I believe a person will get more in contact with their own happiness. The third step, letting go of the desire for happiness. Now, just now, I was sitting in my morning meditation for half an hour and focusing on happiness. And by the end of the meditation, I got to this interesting place of letting go. And I started to let go, not just of the desire for happiness, but all kinds of desires. It's like there's a whole bunch of little things from the past, little fantasies that I have, like, oh, I would like to be able to do that one day, and, what does it say about me if I don't have this? And just started to let that all go, because in the end, those things don't really matter, and happiness is much more valuable than any whim. It was interesting to experience that state, like being this blank slate, just allowing things, letting go of any whim or fantasy, because there's no need to feel any lack. If you want to feel lack, go ahead and feel it. But you don't have to. You can let it go at any moment. So, of course, it's a key step. When you learn meditation in the second step, it will eventually help you on the third step to let go. Everything kind of ties in together nicely. So, 3 steps once again. Develop a strong desire for happiness. Create the conditions conducive to happiness. And let go of the desire for happiness. Or maybe let go for the desire for anything at all. Or that is to say, let go of the feeling of lack, which sometimes accompanies desires. Because desires of themselves, and in my experience, there's nothing wrong with desires. But how we interpret them, and if we layer this level of lack upon them, that's what can inhibit us from happiness. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being grateful. Thank you for letting go of those desires that are accompanied by any feeling of lack. And thank you for embracing the moment and enjoying the wonderful process that we're all involved in. Have a wonderful day.
A beautiful thought.
Thanks for coming along. If you do want some extra help, a little consultation or coaching around your personal happiness, fulfillment, achieving your wonderful goals in your life, and exceeding your previously imagined potential, then you can check out the website, beautifulpodcast.com. You see at the top, it says CBT sessions. What we can do, have a listen to your problems, explore the mystery of them, try to get some fresh perspectives, and come up with an action plan that'll start you moving, however small at first, in the direction of that fulfillment. Check out the website, beautifulpodcast.com. Have a great day.
Feel like